been less than a year since the Stratford Police Force started serving St. Mary's. One of the positive points is that we now have our own cop who is here on a regular basis. And that cop is Constable Nick Keating.
I fought the law and the law won.
Okay. What we were going to do here, we're going to go.
It's really hard to EQ that out.
Anyways, what made you
We're
want to
giving Joe a
become,
lot of trouble here.
what made you want to become a police officer?
Well, I hate to give the pat answer that you hear from the police officer all the time, but the reality is the reason I wanted to become a police officer was I really wanted to be able to help people. You get to come to work every day, you have the opportunity to help people, and the job is a little bit unpredictable too, so you get to come to work and not really know what you're going to do on a daily basis. I have a better idea as a community resource officer like I am about what my day is going to look like, but even still, I still wear the uniform. I'm a police officer, so you just don't know what your days are going to look like.
So when you were first assigned to St. Mary's, what was your reaction?
Well, I was happy about it. So within the Stratford Police, we have what's called a community resource unit. And so in order for me to come to St. Mary's, I actually had to apply to get this job. So I wanted to come to St. Mary's. It wasn't as if the boss said, hey, you've been bad, you're going to St. Mary's. I actually wanted to come here. I applied for it, and I was very happy to get the job here.
So you come to heaven.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
So what were your expectations before you came here? Did you know much about the community?
Well, I mean, I've been in Perth County since I was in grade 8, so St. Mary's is not somewhere I was unfamiliar with. It wasn't like I spent a lot of time over here, but my expectations as far as this job went over here, I was thinking it was probably going to be fairly similar to the job I did previous, which was I was the high school resource officer in Stratford. So I mean, I do a little bit of that. I do other community events. So I think it's what I was expecting. It's very similar to what I was expecting it was going to be.
So how's the job been so far?
Really good. Really good.
Tell me some of the good things you've really experienced.
Well, the kids over here are awesome. Not that the kids in Stratford aren't, because they are. But I think kids in a small town are just a little bit different than kids in a bigger place. And so I've just really enjoyed getting to spend time at the high school and the 2 elementary schools here in particular. I just find the kids are very respectful. They're excited to see me, and I really enjoy that. So.
Yeah. And are there any surprises working in the community?
No surprises. I wouldn't say anyway. As police officers, we don't really like surprises. It's not something that we like to run into, although it can happen. But I wouldn't say that we've had any surprises, or that I've had any surprises coming over here working at St. Mary's.
And has there been any negative in the job at all? Or?
Well, I mean, policing in general, you're dealing sometimes with the negative side of things all the time. Now, again, not so much in my role as community resource officer. I get to do a lot more fun things and more community-oriented things. But the reality is the job can be negative because you're dealing with hard things all the time. So along with policing comes negative, but I would say overall, the experience here in St. Mary's has been very positive.
Mm-hmm. Don?
Well, I know that for me, a good day is when I don't run into a police officer. But I'm sure you have a better way of measuring just how effective you are in the community and,
Sure.
and how that's being perceived in the community.
Sure. So, I mean, right now, we've been here for less than a year. So, I mean, I think for the most part, the way that me personally, forget about the police service for a second, is measuring it is just by the reaction of people and the amount of people that have just taken time out of their day to come up to me or to other officers and tell us that they're happy that we're here and that they're happy to see us is really nice. Something that you don't get a lot of in policing is, hey, you're doing a good job. People like to tell us when we're not doing a good job or when they perceive that we're not doing a good job. But it's really nice to hear when you're doing a good job, and we get a lot of that in St. Mary's. So we really appreciate that.
Well, I hope the community feels that we'd like to make your job one of the easiest jobs in Canada, because we have an awesome community and we'd like to be known as that for the policing, for the police corps. So as time goes on, any ideas how your job will change at all? Or?
I think we try to adapt as things happen or as we can see things are happening. But specifically my job, I think it's just going to keep growing here in St. Mary's. So I mean, again, haven't even been here for a year yet, but I've been able to do lots of different things, like, you know, food drives in the community, and we've done some fraud education awareness for seniors, and we're in the schools all the time doing educational programs. So I mean, that's going to continue to develop. You know, programs will change, needs will arise, and we'll change that way. But as far as what that's going to look like in the near future, I'm not sure. We'll see as it goes, kind of thing.
Okay, just before we go, people phone the police force and 911 and things like that. When should they phone 911? When should they phone the police force?
So 911 is for emergencies. If you're dealing with something that would be considered an emergency, or you believe it's an emergency, and I can't tell you what you are going to believe an emergency is, but if you believe it's an emergency, call 911. And that will get you the police, fire, ambulance, whatever you need, kind of thing. Yeah. Our number 519-271-4141 is just for general police complaints. That can be for emergencies too. If that's the number that comes to your mind when you're in an emergency situation, you call that number. You'll get a police officer really fast when you call that number. But that's for your general police complaints. Anything else police related that you think that we would be interested in dealing with, that's the number to call, is the 271-4141.
And somebody is in St. Mary's, how much?
24/7.
24/7. There's always somebody here.
There's always somebody here.
That's comforting to know.
Yeah, there's always somebody here. And in fact, during the day, during the week, you probably see lots of cars driving around St. Mary's. You know, at times there can be 2 or 3 officers here at once during the day, during the week. So in a town that's the size of this, you're going to see the police car a lot while you're driving around.
Okay, Don, one thing to wind
Well,
up.
last year when I was on council and I was chair of the Police Services Board, this was a very important decision for the town, and we took it to bring a better level of service to the community. And I'm just not going to ask Nick. I'm going to ask the people up here. Has this worked? Well, there you go. Congratulations, Nick.
Okay, so thanks for coming in to chat again. And from where I sit, as I say, I think everybody's told you, you've made a really positive impact in our community. And when you're out and about, don't feel afraid to say hello to this guy. I've done it many times. And
He hasn't shot you yet?
no, not yet. we're trying to convince him to handcuff Frank to the post there, but he's too nice to do that.
I got to take my handcuffs off.
Okay, thank you very much, Nick.
Chains